you are welcome to today's lesson. Sorry for the late start. It was due to I think the network problem. Yes, but I think since I'm communicating with you now, I think everything is sorted out. All right, reactions, and then you must also note that this is going to be part of the assessment. All right, so so basically we are going by the end of the lesson, you should be able to use models to represent chemical reactions, use symbols to represent chemical reactions, and explain the use of a subscript in a chemical formula, and also explain the significance of the numbers in front of what compounds. Explain that no atoms are lost or gained in a what chemical reaction. All right, so let's get going. So, what is a chemical reaction? We have already learned that a chemical process in which two or more substances react to form what? A new what substances. So a chemical reaction is just a chemical process involving two or more substances leading to the word formation of what? A new substance. So all chemical reactions can be represented by equations and models. To some people, chemical equations may seem very hard to understand. Since atoms and molecules cannot be seen, they have to be imagined, and that can be quite difficult. Luckily, we have had some preparation because we've been drawing molecules since grade 7, so it will assist us. Anytime that atoms separate from each other and recombine into different combinations of atoms, we say a chemical reaction has occurred. So in a chemical reaction, no atoms are lost or gained. They are simply rearranged. All right, so let's go on. Chemical reactions. A chemical reaction can break apart and join together in a chemical reaction. A chemical reaction is a process that occurs when two or more substances react to form what? New substances. The substances that react in a chemical reaction are called reactants, and substances that are made as a result of chemical reactions are called products. The subscript number indicates the number of atoms of an element in the compound, and then the number in front of some formula indicates the ratio in which the molecules react. No atoms are lost or gained in a chemical reaction. They are just rearranged. So what we're talking about is that in a chemical reaction, we have got what? Reactants and we have got products. Before the reaction, substances that react, they are called reactants. And after, substances that are formed are called what? Products. Okay, now let's look at this conceptual development. A chemical reaction is a process that occurs when two or more substances react to form what? New substances. So you must take note of this explanation. And what is a reactants? Reactants are substances that react in a chemical reaction. For example, if you look at the equations below, you have got hydrogen and oxygen that are the reactants in the chemical reaction shown, and then products. So we have got what? The substances that are made as a result of a chemical reaction. Water is the product in the chemical reaction. So when we look at these two equations, so the reactants, we have got hydrogen, we have got oxygen, and then we have got what? Water. So these ones that are in front are called what? The coefficient. So you will see that hydrogen is reacting with oxygen in the ratio of what? 2 is to 1. So the whole equation will be what? 2 is to 1 is to 2. So here there is one here, but we don't necessarily write it. Now, when we look at the second equation, then we have got what? A decomposition reaction. So this is carbon dioxide. So we have got carbon and oxygen, two atoms of oxygen. When they decompose, then they will give us what? Carbon and oxygen. So these are the products. The reverse is also true. So when carbon plus oxygen react, we get what? Carbon dioxide, or carbon and then oxygen atoms. All right, now let's take note. The subscript indicate the number of atoms in an element. In the example, there are two hydrogen atoms in the product. So what do we mean by the subscript? So see, for the first, look at the reactants, hydrogen. We have got two hydrogen. There is a small NAP2 down there is called what? Subscript. So the subscript indicate the number of what? Atoms in the element. So when we look at oxygen, we have got two. Then when we come to water, we have got two, and then so take note. Okay. The numbers in front of some formulae indicate the ratio in which the molecules react. The numbers in front of some formulae indicate the ratio in which the molecules react. In this example, two molecules of hydrogen react with one molecule of oxygen. So let's go back again. So when you look at this equation, let's look at hydrogen and oxygen. So here in front of hydrogen, we have got two, and in front of oxygen, we have got one. So the ratio is what? 2:1. Okay. All right, now let's go on. We do not write the numeral 1 if there is only one molecule of the element. For example, we do not write, okay. No. We do not write 1 in front of oxygen so that it will appear as if it's 10. No, we just leave it like that. So elements and compounds are pure substances because they consist of only one type of material. During a chemical reaction, atoms are not lost or gained, as the atoms in the reactants are simply rearranged to form new groups of atoms in the product. Okay, guys, hello, learners, is there? Are you hearing me? Please, if you are hearing me, I've started, but if you, okay, thanks very much, no people. All right, then I will continue. All right. So if you are listening to me, look at the first equation. What are the reactants? How many reactants do I have in the first equation? Just look at it if you are following. How many reactants do I have in the first equation? Okay, very good. Is everyone seeing that there are two? All right, that's great. And then how many reactants do I have in the, how many products do I have? How many products do I have? Okay, that's good. All right. Now let's go to the equation 1. How many reactants do I have in equation 2? How many reactants do I have in equation 2? If you are following, how many reactants do I have in equation 2? Okay, that's no people check well. How many reactants do I have in equation 2? Okay, Manda, that's correct. Plan correct. Okay. No people check. All right. And how many products do I have? How many products do I have? Yeah, that's good. I have got 2 products. That's okay. That's great. All right. All right. Then, okay, you are following me. So let's continue. All right. So we go to the next. But let me just address this again. We're saying the subscript indicates the number of atoms in an element. So again, in the example, there are 2 hydrogen atoms in the product if you check. And then we have got what? If we look at the reactants, we have got what? Also 2 hydrogen atoms. And then we have got what? 2 oxygen atoms. That's good. All right. Now let's go to the next. All right. Now We use pictures and models to represent what chemical reactions. So we have got some diagrams here. So what we are going to do is that you are going to, so if you were following, and basically when I ask you those questions and you answered, that's what you were just doing. So you just have to do this one again. Just ignore task one because we are not in the classroom, and then you are going to do task two. But we are going to look at this diagram. You look at the diagram. So we have got what, one carbon atom, one oxygen molecule, given what, one carbon dioxide molecule. Now the question says, so just basically look at task two. It says, name the reactants and products in the what? In the chemical reaction. So this is, we are using these what, models to represent the chemical reaction. So they say name the reactants and products in the what, chemical reaction. And then two, explain how the atoms in the reactants rearrange to form what, the product. And then write a formula to represent the chemical reaction between carbon and oxygen that forms what, carbon dioxide. So let's get going. So this is a simple activity for us to consolidate what we have just learned. All right, so let's go on. Okay, Ray, that's great. Reactants, carbon and oxygen. Okay, it's left with products. So it says, number one, name the reactants and products. So you say reactants, then you write like what Ongati is doing, and then the product, you give the answer. Also, then you go to Nozipo check your equation. Nozipo, please check your equation. Check your equation again. All right, so keep them coming. Okay, that is I'm not seeing your answers. So yeah, I've only seen somebody's answer for number one. So number one, it says name the reactants and products in the chemical reaction. So what you need to do, you'll say reactant, then you write your answer. Product, you write your answer. Then when you are done, you go to what? Question two. Question two says explain how the atoms in the reactants rearrange to form what? The product. Okay. Okay. So if you could do them in order, it would have been fine, but that's okay. Product is carbon dioxide. I can see that. All right. And I've not seen your reactants also, apart from Ongasi. Ongasi gave the reactants and he or she is now giving the what, the product. So you are done with question one. So let's go to question two. Let's go to question two. Let's go to question two. Yeah, so you gave both. Okay, on Kabechi. All right. So let's go to question two. Don't dodge question two. So what happens when carbon dioxide is formed? So they say explain how the atoms in the reactants rearrange to form what? The product. Okay, so let's go to question two. So let's go to question two. Send in your answers, send in your answers. All right, let's go to question two. All right, Cleo, that's a very good attempt. That's a very good attempt. good attempt. All right, send in your answers. I've seen that of a clue, and that's a good attempt. Who again is coming? Let's be fast and go to question 3. Fantastic. No zippo. That is a very good response also. All right. So I can see that no zippo, you are done. Quickly go to question 3. Question 3 says write a formula to represent the chemical reaction between carbon and oxygen that forms carbon dioxide. Okay. No zippo. Yeah, fantastic. You are done. Tando, what we are doing currently, yeah, you have got questions. We have got multiple choice, we have got fill in, and we have got some essay. Basically, what we have been doing, including this one, yes, that's fantastic. True, you got it right. Also, no people. Okay, all right. So let's just wait for 1 more minute for our colleagues to get done and send in their answers so that we can. The assessment is not that, it's nothing difficult. It's just what we have been doing. So if you have been following the lessons previously, then you're gonna score, or you're gonna get total. You're going to get total. Remember, the total there is 25. All right. What we are doing is a form of revision towards the assessment, and tomorrow you are writing, so you take note. Okay, so let's go to the next. So those of you who have sent in your, yes. So those of you who have sent in your answers, that's good. Let's go to the next slide so that we can check our answers. Okay. All right. So see. So some of you got it right here. Number 1, task 2, the question 1 was reactants. So we write carbon and oxygen. So this is 2 marks. And then question, the same product is carbon dioxide. So that is what, another mark. So that's 3 marks. So question 2 says, how will you explain that what happens to the reactants leading to the formation of what, carbon dioxide? So one atom react with what, 2 oxygen atoms, what, to form the carbon dioxide. But some of you gave that they will have to break and rearrange to form the carbon dioxide, which is also very, very good. Now let's look at question 3, and most of you got this one right. So question 1 is 3 marks, question 2 2 marks, and then question the equation also 2 marks. So 4 7. All right, so let me see the one who got 7 here total for this task. All right, send in your response for me to see those who got total there. All right. Okay. Is that okay? Somebody is asking, are we writing physics and biology separately? It's going to be a combined paper, but mostly it's chemistry, because this thing we're doing is chemistry. All right. Okay, then that's good if you got total. So let's go to the next. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, now an assessment again. assessment again. Assessment again. So here, so now we have got some questions here. So if a molecule has got a subscript of 3, what does that tell you? What is the ratio of hydrogen molecules to oxygen molecules in water? Now, before we do this thing, I just want to go back to, I want to go back to this. Yeah, so watch here before you answer the question. Now you look at these equations. Now, this these points are busy explaining what is happening in the reaction. It says the subscript indicates the number of what atoms in an element. In the example, there are 2 hydrogen atoms in the product. So look at this. So this is the subscript. So we have got what? 2 atoms of hydrogen reacting with what? 1 atom of oxygen to give us water, if we are talking of the water. Now let's look at the product in the second equation. The subscript for oxygen is 2, meaning we have got what? 2 atoms. So take note. All right, so let's go to the, somebody sent the question. You can see properly. Yes, I will go back so that you can see. All right, now, okay, let me see. Can't see properly. The letters are too small. Okay, all right. Which method? I will make sure that next time it's corrected. Okay, now let's go to the assessment itself. The question is, if a molecule has a subscript of 3, what does that tell you? So that's why I went back and then I explained that place. So what is the ratio of hydrogen molecule to oxygen molecules in water? So for you to do this, you have to write down the chemical formula of water, and then you then look at what? Hydrogen and oxygen. What is the ratio there? And then question 2, the chemical equation for zinc oxide, for example, is 2 2ZN 2ZNO. How many different reactants are there? So don't be bothered about the 2. Just look at how many reactants are there. And B, is this statement true or false? The subscript number indicates the number of compounds found in the formula. All right, so I have seen somebody in with the question. That's correct. You, that's very good. Okay, so you go to B. Okay, so let's go to let's go to B. Let's go to B. Let's go to B. Let's go to B. B says, what is the ratio of hydrogen molecules to oxygen molecules? Onka Betray, I've not seen your question 1A and B, but you are giving me question 2A. So quickly go back to your question 1 and send me so that I can see whether you are fine with. Okay, that's good. Number 2B, the ratio is 2:1. That is correct. Which method? Question 1 is saying if a molecule has, try to zoom your phone or whatever you are seeing and see, try to make it large whether you can see. Apparently you are the only one who is complaining, so next time I will try to make it big. So Whitmer, question 1 is saying if a molecule has a subscript of 3, what does that tell you? And question 1B is saying what is the ratio of hydrogen molecules to oxygen molecules in water? Okay. All right. And yeah, that's good. And yeah, very good. Check. What is the ratio of hydrogen molecule to oxygen molecule in water? Onka, write down the formula, then write down the formula for water. Then you will look at what is the ratio between hydrogen and oxygen. Then you can then make your conclusion. But what you have sent is not that right. It's not right. So check it again. So check again. No, you are writing the whole equation for the formation of water. Just write water. The formula for water, H2O, not the equation you are writing. So just write H2O, and then you will look at it. What is the ratio involved? Okay. Conka, do you understand me? So I've just sent you a message. All right, guys, let's be fast. I want us to also play Kahoot if the time is, but I'm not sure because of the delay. All right. Yes, the way you are writing it is not balanced. But for now, the question 1B is saying, what is the ratio of hydrogen molecules to oxygen molecules in water? In water. So you just need to write the water is what? The chemical formula of water. Then you look at the hydrogen and oxygen if you do write it correctly. But for now, we are not looking at the formation of the water molecule just like in the previous slide. The previous slide, you saw that it was already balanced. But this question is saying you should look at the water molecule and see whether what ratio is hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, all right. Uh, Onka, still you don't understand me. Okay, let me do this for you. So this is the formula for water. It's H2O. Okay, now you see hydrogen. How many atoms of hydrogen? Two. Oxygen is one. So the ratio is 2:1. You see? Yes. So that's what I wanted you to do. Okay. So let's quickly go to our corrections. Our corrections. Now, those of some of you, you have got total here. It says, if a molecule has a subscript of 3, what does that tell you? The answer is that the element has 3 atoms. That is very good. Some of you did that. And what is the ratio of hydrogen molecules to oxygen molecules in water? The ratio is what? 2:1. Then when we look at question 2, the chemical equation for zinc oxide is this. So is ZO. How many different reactants are there? We have got what? Zinc. So if we look at this formula, what is here, then we can say that we have got 2 zinc and 2 oxygen. But if it was just separate ZNO, then we can say 1 zinc and 1 oxygen. That is very good. Is this statement true or false? The subscript number indicates the number of compounds found in the formula. Is false. The subscript number just indicates what? The number of atoms of an element found in the formula. All right. So let me somebody's okay. Yes, Onka, that's very good. Yeah, I'm very happy you understood now. Yes, the subscript is for hydrogen and not for oxygen. So oxygen is 1. That's why it's 2:1. I hope you are happy for getting it. All right. Now, okay. So let me quickly see whether we can play. Let me just verify to see whether we can play Kahoot or the time is up. With So guys, if you learners, if you have a question, you just send in. If you have, so basically we are talking about chemical reactions, and we're saying chemical reaction is a type of reaction in which substances come together to form a new substance. Okay. All right. Learners, the time is up. We couldn't play the Kahoot today, but let me just summarize. So as I was saying, a chemical reaction is a process or a reaction involving two or more substances that comes together to give you what? A new substance, which is the product. So in a chemical reaction, we have what is called the reactants and we have what is called the product. What are the reactants? The reactants are the substances that comes together before the reaction. And then the product are the substances that are formed after the reaction. And then we looked at what subscript. And we say in the subscript symbol tells us what the number of atoms that an atom that an element contains. So if we look at oxygen molecule, we have got O2, meaning we have got what? Two atoms. And then we have also got what? 2 mole ratio, which is also known as what? The coefficient. So we get the coefficient from the what? The balance equation. So when we look at the balance equation, we can also get what? A mole ratio. For if we're looking for water, you saw that we got 2 hydrogen gas, 1 oxygen gas, and then what? 2 molecules. So looking at the equation, we can say the mole ratio is 2 is to 1 is to what? 2. Very good. All right. The time is up, and then it was nice having you around, and then see you tomorrow. Just relax. The exam is very cool. If you were following, you will be fine. All right. Enjoy your lessons for today, and bye for now.